everybody, and welcome back once again to Let's Play Motorsport Manager with a Phoenix Knights racing team. Here we are, it's race 1, Doha, for a new season. A new championship. We're in the World Motorsport Championship, of course, the F1 equivalent. We're in the big leagues now. And it's going to be a cracker of a season, I can feel it. For different reasons to those in the past, because in the past couple of seasons we have been doing very well. Race victories, podiums, promotions, it's all been positive for Phoenix Knights Racing Team. This season might very well be the first season where we find ourselves a little bit out of our depth. We have a very simple goal this season. That is to avoid relegation. If we finish 9th, it's a success. Anything above that is an absolutely cracking season. We just need to avoid finishing bottom, which I think we should be able to manage. There is a small merit payment system, which means that the spread of the payments between the top and the bottom is small, so I don't think it matters much where we finish, anywhere between sort of 9th and 5th. The prize money is not going to be massively different. So as long as we avoid relegation, we're going to be in a good position to stabilise and to develop ourselves and push ourselves higher up the rankings in the next couple of seasons. I have a 3-season plan. I want to be challenging for the championship within 3 seasons. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so there's a lot to get through. This session could end up being a long one, but we'll play it by ear. And the first thing that we need to address is the targets. Our chairman has asked us, where do we expect to finish this season? And the difference between the money that we get is quite a lot. 42 million he's going to give us if we say we can finish 6th or above. 35 if we can finish 8th. Or 28 if we can finish 10th. That's a difference of 14 million from 10th to 6th. Now 6 I think 6 is actually quite doable, really. In the early races, if we can pick up points when people are breaking down, we could end up with a decent amount of points, and that could just see us through to the end of the season in the mid-tables, whilst the lower teams struggle for points. But I think it's too much of a risk. I really do. I don't want to end up losing the job, having worked so hard to get to this point. So that's as tempting as £42 million is. I think it's a bit of a suicide. Likewise, I think 10th is definitely well, 10th is the bottom of the ladder, isn't it? That's like saying there's no expectations at all, and I don't think that is the right way to go. I think we've got to have some expectations and give ourselves a bit of a challenge. So we're going to go 8th. Middle of the road. Now some people may be saying, no, don't do that, you stupid fool. Just why put extra pressure on yourself? What if things go wrong? It's the nature of the beast. There's got to be some semblance. There's got to be some sense of something's on the line here if things go wrong. We've got to give ourselves that concept, that possibility that if things do go wrong, there's a consequence. So we're going to go for it. 35 million, it's a nice halfway house. 8th is what we're going to say. And that gives us 41 million to play with for the entire season, which we're going to have to spread out between developing parts and maybe even developing or building another building. Our cost per race is only 500,000, which is really, really very helpful. In a kind of weird way, because we're only spending a little bit on next season's chassis, and I'm wondering if we should bunce that up now, because the chassis in this series are actually quite expensive. But similarly, because it's a 3-season plan, again, I'm not expecting to be massively competitive next season, so perhaps we shall start ramping that up from the 3rd season onwards, when we expect to be making a concerted push towards challenging. So yeah, I think we'll stay on cheap for now, because I don't expect to be competitive next season. So the chassis is not massively important. Right. So yeah, 506,000 per race we're losing. that is absolutely really, really good. That is really, really good. When we consider sponsorship deals, we might not even be losing that much money per race, which gives us a massive amount of leeway when it comes to spending our cash, which we're going to need. Which we're going to need, to be quite frank with you. So right, we're now going to focus on the car. Here it is. As you can see, not 10th best rear wing, 8th best suspension, 9th best on the front wing, and the brakes, and the gearbox, and the engine. So we're not the worst car on the grid. We are the 9th best, second worst. So we shouldn't really be finishing bottom of the pile, should we, on that evidence? But you never know. So in terms of fitting the parts, all of the parts should be exactly the same for both drivers for now. And they are in terms of their numbers. Some of the parts develop better than others, but it's not really a massive problem. So we're going to aim to give both drivers an equal car, of course. We're going to look at a new part. Now, this is going to be rather interesting. What part do we go for is going to be the first question. Now, the best part to develop first, I think, is the engine, mainly because the engine is a crucial or highly important part for the vast majority of the races, or the largest proportion of the races. So if you develop your engine as soon as possible, that's going to give you a good springboard for the rest of the season going forward. So on that proviso, we're going to go with it. Now, another thing is, do we adopt a 3-season plan? When I say that, what I mean is, do we go for developing the best parts we can possibly get, or do we go for developing parts that we can use in season? If we're only aiming to finish 9th, should we instead be focusing our efforts on getting the very best parts available? Or parts that we can use? 1340, 1309, 1340. The thing we've got to remember also is that we're actually building the test track, so we can't actually get the very best engine parts right at the start, but we should be able to get them in a few weeks. I think what we're going to do, up until the sort of the halfway stage in the season, I think we'll develop parts that we can use in season, and at the second half of the season what we'll do is we'll switch our focus to developing parts specifically to carry forward. But for the first half at least, we'll try and at least deck the car out with some upgrades. I think that's definitely worth doing. We don't want to run the risk of being dropping back through the field and becoming the worst car, especially when we have predicted we're going to finish 8th or above. So top speed plus 20, an upgraded engine, certainly going to be useful, and it will be ready 3 days after the race, which is a bit of a shame, but what can you do? Just make sure that we filled all the slots. Yeah, that's good. So a new engine will soon be upon us. Next up, we need to focus on our part improvement. Now, as you've just seen, and at the start of every season it's the same. It's all about getting that reliability up. And this track has got crucial acceleration and crucial low speed corners. So that's gearbox and front wing. So gearbox and front wing is going to be our focus for our reliability. In terms of our performance, I mean, what does it really matter? It really doesn't matter a great deal. Our suspension is already pretty good, so we'll probably develop that last, and therefore we might as well do that. And we'll do rear wing as well. It's not going to really matter much because it's only going up a point a day, so yeah, that is the upgrading of the car done. I mean, the brake, 50%, 46, that's not too bad. I mean, 41 on the engine, that's gonna really be a massive issue. And the engine takes longest to repair in the race as well. Whereas the front wing probably won't take as long. Engine is also useful. It's going to be a problem in this race. Nature of the beast, though, I'm afraid. Nature of the beast. Everybody's going to be in the same boat. Okay, so that is the car sorted. So the final thing, before we press on, is to meet the teams. We've got a new championship, new teams. So we're going to meet one of them to start with. Now, I think we are going to be seeing a lot of the back of the pack this season. And therefore, we will start with... well, we don't even know, to be fair, which cars... Oh, the Thornton. Thornton was predicted to be the worst team, so we'll have a look at Thornton. So Thornton, here they are. Got Chairman E. Harris. It's a team based in the United Kingdom. Their car is the 9th best, although they have the best drivers, which is a very interesting proposition. They have a 5-star driver, Zed Sharp, who has absolutely highly ridiculous stats and only costs 991,000 a race. Wow. High marketability. She is a very, very good driver. Very good driver. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking, from what I can remember, this is the equivalent of Daniel Ricciardo. I think this is supposed to be Daniel Ricciardo. I could be wrong, but it seems to make sense, although Thornton is not the same team. So that is Ed Sharp. No doubt they're their number 1 driver in terms of performance. The next driver, number 2, is Samuel Blanc. Not bad. Not bad at all. So nice setup. The lead designer, okay. That's the stat that I like. Oh, that's a pretty decent one. This one here, this is a one. Unlocks an additional great component. That, when you're developing your car and trying to, develop quickly, is a very, very useful component. Very useful. So much so that I'm actually going to add her to my watch list. Oh God, she's interested. Oh, now there's a proposition I did not expect to come around at the start of this season. Wow, I'd have to pay $3 million to break her contract, another $1 million to break our lead designer's contract, and then pay her 500 grand a race, which is more than mine. Oh, but that is such a good component that it's almost worth doing it. No, I don't think I could justify paying $5 million plus an extra 300 grand a race. I think he's running out at the end of the year in 10 months' time. I think she's locked in for another 10 months' time as well. So this cost to break will come down significantly unless they offer a new. Well, they can't offer a new contract till this expires. So. Well, they could do, actually. That's an incorrect statement. They could do. Interesting. I'm going to keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on this, indeed. We've got other Meet the Teams as well, so we'll see what their lead designers are like. But she is definitely one that I may be getting next season. She wouldn't be too bad at all. Okay. The race mechanics don't look too bad. This one looks very good. Ant Skilton, very nice indeed. So headquarters, 7th best there. Their staff, down as 8th best, but they're the designer. We've got her eye on her. And they have the best sponsors on the grid, rather interestingly. So quite an interesting team, really. They are down as the worst team, but in terms of their car performance, but they've got some good drivers, staff not too bad, good sponsors. It's going to be interesting to see where they finish. Okay, so that's meet the team. Thornton, they are green car. Keep an eye out for them on the track. Okay, so everything is done. Everything is done. Car is done. Contracts are done, and all that kind of jazz. And the chairman has made his payment. And here we are, the first race weekend of the season. This is where all the hard work now has to be channeled into 3 days. And we didn't get off to a good pre-season. Our testing was awful. Sundin's got an entourage, and Surikov, something wrong with him as well. He's suffering with some malady, feeling blue. So yeah, all in all, not marvellous. So now that Surikov has lost his bonuses and his buffs to his marketability, you can see that we actually dip down to now 4-star sponsor appeal rather than 5. This is actually not very good at all. Not very good at all. Hopefully, as we progress along, some events will happen that will raise that for him. We'll have to wait and see. Alright! So the next new thing for us is actually picking the race tyres. We have a choice between soft, medium and hard. We get to pick what tyres we use, including how many of each, which is a very interesting proposition. 7th or above is certainly as high as we're going to go in the sponsorship. I don't even think we're going to achieve that, to be quite honest with you, but if we do, we may just end up on a slight positive in terms of our race projected financial outcome. So here we are, tyre selection. I can't anticipate using the hard tyres. We are forced to make 2 stops, so we don't have to make our tyres last that long. So I'm just thinking we just go 50-50. I don't even think we're going to be using medium tyres, to be quite honest with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 4 mediums. No, sorry. 9 softs, which will probably give us at least 3 runs in qualifying should we need them. 5 mediums and 1 hard. That seems to be like a decent balance. And the parts are fit. So yes, it's looking cloudy, but it is Doha, so we're not expecting rain, to be quite honest with you. It's 17 laps, 2 stops are forced, high fuel burn, medium tyre wear. Let's get this show on the road. See you in qualifying. Alright, so practice has been completed. It was a long practice session. So an opportunity to really focus on the bonuses. Times are not really important, but it's semi-promising. We weren't the slowest around. But, we'll see what happens in qualifying, which will be much more indicative as to where exactly we expect to finish this season. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. It's sunny. Our target is to finish 7th or above in both qualifying and the race. The race possible, but qualifying I wouldn't have thought so. So as you can see, we managed to get to maxed out soft tyres and race trim. We've also got a little bit of medium tyre and qualifying trim. That's what we expect to be able to make use of in the qualifying, of course. Softest compound and qualifying trim. Our new arrival has to build up a relationship with his mechanic before he gets any further bonuses. The car setups. 95% for Sundin. Of course, picking the soft tyre. And for Surikov, 96%. He too is picking the soft tyre. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but he is extra conservative with his tyres, his smoothness rating, meaning that he can get 7 to 9 laps out of a set of soft tyres. Sundin only getting 5 to 7. Quite significant. Could that play out to his advantage during the season? We'll find out, won't we? But for now, let's dive on in and get qualifying. Okay, so the qualifying sessions are down as long, so you get 12 minutes to do your laps. This is a relatively long circuit, almost 2 minutes a lap. So I'm thinking that 2 stints should be alright, 2 qualifying sessions, 2 qualifying runs. We do have the tyres to do 3 if we need to, so we're not going to go out really late. What we'll do is we'll go out very shortly, set a banker lap, then try and set a lap when the grip is at its most optimum, and then try to leave some time to do a last lap if we get traffic and are not happy with our first 2. So Sundin going out now. Sirikov not long after. Just see where they shake up in the mix. Remember to turn on the optimization, and we're off. We are off, and Sirikov has come right out into the path of the Thornton vehicle, which is not ideal. Car number 13. Blanc, that was it. He's on a hot lap, which means he's going to be on an in lap when we're on a hot lap, so that's not ideal for Sirikov. Sundin, she has come out in not in clear air at all. She is behind De Graaf, who is going pretty quickly, it has to be said. So maybe they won't slow us down when we're on our hot lap. And here we go, Sundin is starting the flying lap now. I'm thinking anything above 15th would be a success. Here comes Sirikov. I'm thinking anything above 15th is a success. We really need super overtake mode back with Sundin to give her a qualifying boost. She really needs to get rid of that entourage, doesn't she? And focus on her damn racing. So she's 7/10ths down in the first sector. So this is where we're going to see just how much quicker the big dogs are. The fast cars, your Mercedes, your Ferraris equivalent, compared to us. Where are we going to shake up? We're 2.4 seconds behind and not even into the final sector. We are getting a little bit slowed down, it must be said. Sirikov is 2.8. He must be really struggling behind. So, yeah, he had to pass the damn car to get onto into clear air. So these 2 times are not great. But given that, Sundin's qualified in 11th, Sirikov in 15th, Thundering Sundin. I know Sirikov had traffic, but Thundering Sundin not about to be overshadowed here by a new teammate. She is stepped up to the first division, and she is looking good. 11th place. That's a damn good qualifying position. That is a damn good qualifying position for Sundin. So that's a good opening lap, especially since we had a little bit of traffic to worry about. Sirikov won't want to be out-qualified by his teammate in the first race of the season, so he's going to be focusing on his next lap and hoping it's a stormer. I think the rivalry between Sundin and Sirikov will be a lot more amicable than Sundin and Valdez. I'm hoping, at least anyway. We'll have to see how that pans out as the season progresses. Right, Sundin's going out gear. I don't think we're going to have enough time to do 2 flying laps, so this has to count. This has to count. She's going straight back out here, Sundin. Straight back out. No messing around. Sirikov, he has to really feed out nicely into the open air, really. He can't afford to be hindered. So he's going to go out now. Okay, so Sundin, she's got a nice gap. It just all depends on who is going to go out in front of her when she comes round and crosses the line. A lot of people are going out now for their final qualifying run. Sundin 11th, Sirikov 15th. If we can get both cars in the top 12, that would be a very good start to the season, if you ask me. Top 10 places get points in this championship, so we're already on the fringes of getting in the points, and generally speaking we tend to do a lot better in the race than we do in qualifying. So if we're going to qualify in 11th, I'm expecting to finish in the top 7. I'm expecting to hit our sponsorship target. So Sundin has overheated the brakes, the tyre temperatures are perfect, as she crosses the line for her second hot lap. She has got clear air. Let's see how she improves. Is she going to get a green first sector? Sirikov, looks like he's got open air as well, so we've timed it very well. Sundin's first sector is not quicker than her first lap. We'll switch to Sirikov, but Sirikov is the one that needs to improve most. He is quicker. He is quicker. So Sirikov is on an improved lap so far. Sundin is now coming across the second sector, and she is not quicker than her first flying lap, which means she's unlikely to improve, but you just never know. Sirikov is getting caught rapidly by whoever the hell that is. I have not a clue. It's Holtz. It's Holtz. Yeah, she hasn't improved the time. Sirikov is on for an improved qualifying run here as he's coming around the last few corners. The car behind him has absolutely eaten up the ground, but we should still get a faster time. Holy moly! He didn't do it. He did not do it. He was a tenth slower than his previous qualifying lap. He was on for a faster lap. Did the sight of this car and his wing mirror just put the frighteners on him? Our new hotshot driver that we've just ditched Valdez for, a two-time European Racing Series champion, has not even out-qualified Sundin. Well, this is an interesting proposition. Ah, they are Mercedes, that's why they're so quick. Holtz and Becker. That's why they were so damn quick. They absolutely gained on us massively. It's going to be a tough season. Right, so Steinman and Mercedes, Scuderia Rossini are Ferrari, and Panther are Red Bull. I think Catano are McLaren, is that right? Anyway. Sundin, yeah, 11th position. 2.7 seconds slower than Steinman, who are a class above everybody else, of course. So that's actually only 1.5 seconds slower than Scuderia Rossini. Getting into the sort of top 4, top 6 maybe is going to be very difficult because of I think the top 6 cars, Steinman, Scuderia, and Panther, are going to be a class above. But then it's going to be the best of the rest, I think, and we could well be the best of the rest if we really have a good season. So I'm going to really look forward to this. Really looking forward to it. So yeah, Sundin, Asia Pacific Cup champion, setting her stall out and just saying to her teammate, "I ain't no slouch, buddy. You may be touted as a better driver than me, but I am no slouch. They don't call me Thunder and Sundin for nothing." Okay, here we go. Race time. It's a 17-lap race, which is actually relatively long for a race here because it is a 2-minute lap almost, isn't it? 1 minute 50 seconds, whatever it was. So anyway, here we go. We have to. We'll go for a soft tyre bonus and race trim for both cars, and then we're going to look at the setup. Right, we're looking at 2 6s and a 5 in terms of the tyre choice. The 5 will probably be the first stint, a shorter first stint and then 2 longer stints. She can just about do 5 laps on these tyres. 6 might be a push, but we're going to start off on the soft and we'll play it by ear. But she's going to have to make sure that these last on the second and the third stint. 7 laps of fuel. Well, she's not going to need that, is she? She's going to need 6 laps if she's doing a 5-lap stint. We're not going to be doing too much pushing here because of the fact that of course we've got the parts to worry about. But we'll give her 6 laps to start with. Meanwhile, Surikov can certainly make these tyres last quite comfortably, so he's going to have the full mashings, the full laps in there. He's going to go for a 6-lap first stint, a longer first stint, and then just play it by ear to see where he comes out. After the first stops, the driver strategies, we are going to push for the first lap, I think. We're not going to push the engine too hard on overtake mode, just because the engine, of course, we were down at 40%. So yeah, we're off and racing. So let's have a look at the grid in more detail here. We've got Nina Holtz and Pascal Becker, the German front row in a German car. And yes, it's going to be a tough season to put anybody to beat those guys. Scuderia Rossini, Mr. Wexler, aka Vettel, I would imagine, is in third. We've got Sylvander in Panther, who's in fourth, with Harry Chapman in fifth. We have sixth position is the other Scuderia Rossini car, Vercruce. Very hard to pronounce. We've got De Graaf in Catano, who is in seventh. Eighth is Lipponen in Windsor. And we have Catano in ninth position with De Wolf. And then we have Piaget, Windsor in 10th. And finally, 11th for our thundering Sundin. Good on you, old Sundin. Right, come on, let's dive in. We're going first race of the season. Here we go. Can we pick up some points? And how many can we pick up? We're off! We're racing! And Sundin has got stuck behind somebody, not the greatest at starts. But she is roughly where she was when she qualified, and she's looking good, she's looking good, she's looking good. Is she looking good? I don't know if she's looking good. Okay. Surikov has gone backwards. He's in 18th position. Sundin is the one on the move. She's up into 9th. She's bordering on points here. Bordering on points. She's looking racy. She's looking racy. Right, let's have a look at the car conditions. I didn't look at the car conditions before the race started. We did focus on the gearbox and the front wing, and that's 60 and 59%. 58 and 56. Sundin drops to 11th position. It's fine. Just settle into a rhythm and we'll take it from there. We're expecting a lot of cars to be crashing out here with all kinds of issues. We've got cars on hard tyres. I don't know why they're doing that, because it's a waste. You're not going to be able to go long enough to make use of the hard tyres. We're not going to complain. Sundin up into 9th as she crosses the line. We're going to turn it down now. We're going to turn down the engine. Turn it down now. We're going to play the long game today. A lot of the cars are still pushing. Makes me think we should probably push at least for one more lap. But we're going to just play this the long game. We're playing it looking for longevity. The reliability of the cars is not what it should be, and therefore we can't afford to push too hard. All of these cars are still pushing. I mean, they have better facilities than us, so perhaps they have better abilities to fix the reliability of their cars quickly. Possibly. But Sundin is in 10th, and all of the cars in front of her are streaking off into the distance. So this is quite an eye-opening experience, it has to be said. But they are pushing, don't forget. So as soon as they turn their engines down and things, we should be able to start making gains. So we're not going to panic just yet. And we are in the points, of course, with Sundin. Surikov, on the other hand, 15th position. It's not a million miles behind, but a very underwhelming start for our new superstar, it has to be said. as Sundin is battling against Piaget, just fending him off, but not for long by the looks of it, because there we go, she's lost her position. But it's all about playing the game of patience, isn't it? This first race. As she's now looking up the inside, here she goes. She's not giving this place up without a fight. This is the last point scoring position, and she is not giving it up without a fight. Well played, but making work for it. Yeah, look at the gap forming to 9th position. 7 seconds, 6 seconds already. Wow. This could be a long season. This could be a long season. If we're just fighting for the last couple of dregs of point scoring positions. Okay. Cars are now in conserve mode. Tyres being conserved. Engine modes are still pretty high though, so this is a track that is useful on engines, so engines do suffer a little bit. So if they're pushing their engines hard, might not be a good thing. As Sirikov is still in 15th, but he's looking like he's beginning to want to start to pass. Look at the traffic jam here. Look at the traffic jam. He's up into 14th now, as cars around him start to turn down their engine modes, to start to conserve their tyres. This is when he's now making his move. Or is it? He's still in 15th. He's finding it hard, is Sirikov here. He's finding it very difficult. But he is past. He is now up into 14th position, as Sundin is in 11th. Just keeping an eye on her tyre wear. She's still okay. We're expecting her to come in at the end of this lap. We did say 5 laps. We did fuel her for longer. She can go another lap if she wants to. As we start to gain, look at that. The cars are coming back to us now. They've turned down their modes, and now they're coming back to us. This is all about patience, and Sundin is the perfect driver when it comes to driving in a style that is conducive to being patient. She is so silky smooth. She's done it all before. This is not new. This is not new to her. She knows how Phoenix Knights work. She's settled into the team, and she knows what she's doing. As we we're going to have to bring her in now. The tyres aren't going to last another lap. But we'll go for another set of sauce for the second stint. This time we shall put in the 6 laps of fuel. And conditions are looking not too bad. We're going to have to fix them for the final stint, I would have thought. We'll just see what happens. The front wing is degrading a little bit quicker than I would like. Just wondering if we should put the car into conserve mode, or if we should just carry on in normal to get us to the end. We're going to have to change the engine, I would have thought. I think we just go normal. We're going to have to end up fixing, a few parts here. It's inevitable. So there's no point of turning the engine down, because we're still going to have to fix them anyway. So Sundin coming in for her first stop. She's in 11th place, but she can certainly see the points ahead of her. Sirikov, one more lap for him as he crosses the line. He goes past his teammate. We're just going to remember to pit him as early as possible, so we try not to forget. He too will go for another 6-lap stint and go for a splash and dash at the end. And again, go for a normal pit strategy. So Sundin has fed back out into 18th position. We'll follow Sirikov for the time being as he now tries to have a decent in-lap, but he's getting passed by many a car, which is not very good. We are really hoping that these cars start to conk out around us, because if we can't get points in the first race of the season, which is generally the race where we pick up most of our points when the other cars are struggling for reliability and stuff, then we are really going to struggle this season. Sundin's passing cars and she's loving it. She is loving it. She's passing cars and she is loving life at the moment. She has really risen to the challenge of driving in the World Motorsport Championship. She is showing her teammate how it's done. She has pitted, her teammate hasn't, and she's already almost on the back of him. As Surikov comes into the pits for his stop now. Let's have a look at this and make sure it goes okay. The fuel goes in, the tyre change is good. And we're off and racing again as Sundin is up into 13th position. There are still cars ahead of her to pit. And they'll have to pit this lap because their fuel loads only let them do 7 laps, surely. They've got to do 2 stops. Yeah, the car behind her, for instance, has got to pit again. Or pit for the first time at least. It's sharp. So let's have a look at the. Let's have a look. Right ahead of her, she's got Flores who needs to pit, Gonzalez, Schmidt, and D'Oster has to pit. De Graaf has to pit. All of these she should be able to get on terms with. The leaders are well out in front. Don't expect to catch those anytime soon, but yeah, things are looking a little bit grim on the old condition front. Looking a little bit grim. Up into 9th, up into 6th. Come on, thundering Sundin, here we go. Yeah, here, this is it. This is now where we need to... Oh, look at that. 28% front wing, 27% engine. It's looking a little bit ropey. I'm not even... I'm just under half race distance. Unfortunately, nothing we can do about it. 5th place has run out. He's run out of fuel. So a lot of teams here just struggling to get up to speed with things in the first race of the season. Few strategic blunders, I see. Just as long as we're not the one making the damn blunders, it makes a change, doesn't it? Old Potter. On the whole, he's done a good job in the past few seasons. 1 or 2 mishaps, but what can you say? Surikov is catching slightly. He's in 8th position now. He's in clear air, just beginning to get into the rhythm. Car ahead of him is pitting. He's out of fuel as well. All of these cars out of fuel. They've pushed it far too long. And Sundin up into 5th. Dare we dream of a podium on our first race in the new championship? Or am I just being far too optimistic? The points we pick up in the first couple of races could really, really set us off for the rest of the season. Really could. Vital points. Look at that. I thought that was Surikov for a second there. I'm going to say, look how quickly he's gaining. But he's not far behind. He's only 7 seconds behind Sundin now in clear air. It's going to be an interesting... Oh, and now we've got part problems. The front wing is looking very, very dodgy. Because of his smoothness stat, I think he's a little bit better on his car. But look at all of the parts. All of the parts are completely and utterly buggered to bits. He's going to have to fix the whole damn car. The whole damn car is going to have to be fixed. Probably for both drivers. I can't bring her in yet because it's we're not going to have enough fuel to finish the race. What we would do now? We would do now. Oh, this is so tough. This is so tough. What do we do here? We're going to have to fix the whole car. The whole car has to be fixed. Or do we chance it with Sundin? Do we say, do you know what? The suspension, the gearbox and the brakes might just hold out. Just fix the engine and the front wing. We're going to have to do another lap. We're going to have to do another lap here. Just to get a better judgment on just what we need to do. In terms of fixing the parts for the final stint. I'm wondering if we should actually just go conserve. to conserve these parts that are on 30%. Fix these two and drive round the last stint in conserve mode to protect these. Now we're going to bring her in now. She should be able to finish on the soft tyres, especially if we're going conserve. I think we should be alright. I think she'll be okay. Just put enough fuel in to get around to the end. Fix those two. I think we're going to risk it with these parts, you know. I think we're going to risk it and just go conserve mode. Could be a risk, but with Sundin, she is pushing for a podium. We're gonna risk it with her. We're gonna risk it. Meanwhile, Sirikov, he can't really risk it. His parts are struggling, but we are going to turn him down for now. Turn down his engine modes and see how he fares when he comes for his pit stop. But cars all around us now. Look at that. He's got us problems. Becker hasn't. Piaget hasn't. Vercruz. Holtz has got a problem and hasn't fixed that problem, so she's going to have to do a whole stint with a car that has got problems. Right, here we go. We're just coming round now to the pit entrance, and we can change our strategy if we want. And judging by how much we've dropped here, I think we have to fix these as well. So we're going to change that pit strategy. Change that pit strategy. It's not going to work out. It's too much of a risk. And seeing that some of the other cars haven't fixed their parts and they're going to drop out of the race with retirements, it's not worth us doing the same. I think the rear wing and the brakes will last. It's these two that I'm now worried about. So we'll go for the fix on the 4 parts. These two will remain. That should be okay. Sundin's tyres just not holding out to the very end of this lap, which is a crying shame. Sirikov is gaining. He can do one more lap. Right, she's going to be in the pit for a while, so we will switch to Sirikov. I think he's going to do a complete and utter full mashings here. He's going to go for the full fix. He's going to have to go for the full fix, and then he's going to push on the last stint. He's going to go in overtake mode. He's going to just storm around the field as quickly as he can. He's going to have to do a complete and utter rework on the car. We've got a mistake with the repairs, which is absolutely glorious. Thank you so much, pit crew, for your due diligence in screwing us over. Sundin is just sat like a sitting duck. Nothing we can do about it. 6 seconds lost due to a mistake. That could actually put her, but it won't put her behind. Won't put her behind Sirikov, because Sirikov is fixing the whole car. So we're in 15th. There are other cars that need to pit. She's going to go normal mode. Sirikov is pushing purely because he's actually fixing his entire car, so he can afford to now push the car as hard as he can. Holtz has retired. Holtz has retired. Black smoke here. And now it's his turn to sit in the pit lane. Oh, it's so painful watching it. It's just so painful. Sundin, is she going to pick up some points? Podiums and whatnot, that's not going to happen, is it? It's out of the question. But is she going to pick up points? That is what we're hoping for here. That is what we're hoping for. As cars need to pit in front of her. Got a lot of people pitting here. A lot of people pitting. Sirikov is still sat there. He's still sat there. Oh my god. We've got another. It's just so awful. She's up into 10th position. Sirikov is coming out into 12th, 13th or 12th. 12th position for Sirikov. We still have a chance of getting points today. He's pushing now. He's pushing hard. His car is capable of pushing. So he's on the charge. I don't know who's left to pit, but Sundin is picking up some points. Sirikov is chasing down 10th position, who is pitting, so he's going to be getting 10th position. 9th and 10th so far. 8th position is just up the road. We've got a chance of picking some points up here. And who knows out of the cars ahead of us that have to pit? Are they going to pit and fix parts as well? Or are they just going to pit and hope for the best that their car makes it to the end? Tyre temperatures going through the damn roof here. The track temperatures, it's not massively hot. Okay, Sundin up to 6th. Didn't notice that when she's crossed the finish line. A few people were in the pits and she's up into 6th. 3 laps to go. We're a little bit, we're not actually that concerned with the brakes of the rear wing. They should last. Only 3 laps to go. Somebody's out of fuel. So there's been a few strategic blunders today, hasn't there, from other teams? Another retirement, it's Schmidt. He's out of the race, which means we're going to go up into 5th position here with Sundin. She does have a car behind her. It is Sylvander. He is catching us pretty quickly. Just turn the engine mode up slightly. Surikov up into 8th position. Still pushing hard. Three more laps to go for Sundin, who's now up into 4th position. I don't think she's going to stay here, to be quite frank with you. Piaget's on medium tyres. Slower tyres. Is it a possibility? Look at that, 80 seconds ahead. This is absolutely ludicrous. This guy is storming us apart, but his car is looking worse for wear. Is he going to make it to the end, or is he going to have another retirement here? Can Sundin keep Sylvander behind her? Somehow I don't think so. And there goes Vercruz. He was 80 seconds ahead. He could have fixed the whole damn car in that time and still come out in 1st. Which means that Sundin is going to be promoted up into 3rd position. That is a podium position with 2 laps to go. Oh, come on, Sundin. Come on. Come on. We're going to give her engine mode. We're going to give her engine mode for 2 laps. We're going to push it. We're going to push it. He's conserving tyre. Surikov is still pushing hard. Come on, Sundin, keep him behind. Keep him behind. Keep him behind. Just forget the warning lights. Just keep him behind. %on the brakes. The brakes, will they last another lap? Oh, this is so close. So close. Even if she got 4th, even if you get 4th and 5th, it's not a tragedy. But a podium, to taste that champagne on the first race of the season, would be absolutely immense here. As we go down the home straight for the penultimate time. We cross the line. It's the final lap. Oh my God, her tyres are absolutely shot to bits. Her car is screaming out in pain. Her brakes are failing. Here comes Surikov. Sylvander here is just waiting to pounce. She's not going to be able... No, here we go. Is she going to be able to keep him behind? He's trying everything in the book to pass, and she's not letting him pass. She is not having it. You shall not pass me today, says Sundin. No chance. She's tasting that champagne. She's visualising the glory of being on the podium here. This is the best chance, probably the only chance she's going to have to get a podium finish this season, unless there is some strategic miracle pulled off by Potter in variable weather conditions in future races. And Surikov is still catching the back of these guys quickly. Excess fuel, still excess fuel. Last few corners here for Sundin. Give her everything. Give her everything. Give her everything. Come on, Sundin. Yes, she's going to do it. She's going to do it. Yes. Getting Asia Pacific Cup champion Thundering Sundin has started the World Motorsport Championship with a bang. She has managed to drag her car around this track in 3rd position. Yes, other cars failed, their cars broke down on them, but that is more fool them. Do not take anything away from this woman, because not only that, but more fitting, if you will, or more of a true test to how good a podium this was for Sundin, is the fact that her teammate, who has been touted as a potential future world champion possibly, has been touted as a driver that has more natural ability than Sundin. He finished 5th. She out-qualified him, and at no point during the race did she look like she was going to be beaten by him. What a first race of the season for Phoenix Knights. 3rd and 5th. Those points are going to go a long way to ensuring that we remain in this series next season. Wow. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the teams that have picked the points up, because don't forget, a lot of the weaker teams will have picked points up as well, because a lot of the big guns went out retired. So it's points all round. So 15 points for Sundin for finishing in 3rd position, and Surikov gets 10. Very good drive from both of our drivers. And there are no bonus points in this series for fastest laps or for pole positions, thankfully. It's just points in the race, and 3 retirees. So yes, let's have a look at the constructors, shall we? It's going to make for some very good viewing. Enjoy it while it lasts. So Steinman did get a person to win the race. Managed to but it was their 2nd driver, actually. So yes, that's the championship standings. You see? Look at this. You've got the Steinman, the Windsors, the Panthers, the Rossinis, all of these guys are expecting to pick up points. A lot of the weaker teams, like your Thorntons, they didn't pick up any points. So that's really going to help us going forward. Really going to help us going forward, because they're going to struggle to pick up points in the entire season, and we have already got 25. It's a long championship, 16 rounds. And look at Phoenix Knights Racing. The minnows of this championship find themselves, by some minor miracle, in 2nd position, joint on points with the leaders. Oh, if we could have just been in 1st place. You could have taken a photograph of that and kept it, because it's not going to last. But it's a very good start, and it's a promising sign. And if we're looking to finish in the top 5, if you look at all these guys with no points, and 4 points and 8 points and things, it's far too early to call. But I think 25 points could certainly be enough already to see us into next season. But we're not going to take anything for granted. Thorntons suck more than a vacuum cleaner. Oh dear, you could turn that into such a rude joke, couldn't you? Right, I'm going to have to have a look at this. Video's probably going to be just about an hour long, due to the longer qualifying, the slightly longer races. So we're going to it's up to you guys. If you're happy with hour-long sessions, fine, I'll do it. But I might have to maybe cut a few things out, maybe a bit more savvy about how I maybe do things. But to me, I'm enjoying things, so I'm just going to stick as is for now. Podium finish for Sundin. Extra morale, of course. But she's reached her peak now. She's 31, 32. So she's reached her peak, whereas this young chappie is improving. Potential to be 5-star. But he's going to have to up his game. If he thought he could come into this team and cruise around as its #1 driver, he's just got a bit of a nasty shock, hasn't he? And we only lost £46,000 in that race. So that is a massive, massive bonus. But that will change going forward. as we look at some of the familiar names of last season, because we're going to lose our 5-star sponsors slowly but surely, and they're going to be replaced with only 4-star sponsors, so that will change. But so far, so good. Things are looking very good for Phoenix Knights after the first race of the season. Second race of the season is in Japan. We've got parts to build, and points to gain. So join me next time to see if we can continue this good form, keep the momentum going, and maybe pick up some more points next time. Until then, see you soon.